You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Otten in motion. Look for Otten out there. Goes the other direction, and it's Tristan Wirfs. The All-Pro.
That's what we're talking about. 9 carries, 33 yards. Rodgers surrounded by Bosa, and the ball comes out, and Binford has it, and the Bills have a scoop and scored to start the second half. And Rodgers is...
Auburn family, we just arrived on the plains, got a chance to meet with the team. Man, we're excited. I can't wait to go to work. I can't wait to make you proud. War damn Eagles. Let's go.
Oh, the humanity. How's everybody doing? Everybody got a popsicle headache from all the stuff that happened this weekend? Holy cow. Good morning, everybody. We welcome you back from an awesome Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Hope it was good for you. Lots of college football and NFL to talk about. Let's get it going. Thanks for checking out the Pete Sheppard Show here across the Coastal Sports Digital Network, the awesome video platform and audio platform that we have on the video side on YouTube, Kick, Rumble, LinkedIn, CSD in Florida, Instagram, and of course on the awesome Odyssey app and SR1029 The Game, SR1029thegame.com. And you can always call or text the show at 727-858-6650. Not to mention my beloved Patriots. Hopefully beating up on the Giants tonight. Should be a good game. Expecting a good game tonight with Jackson Dart back in Foxborough. But it's hard for me to say this. But that game right now, out of about 20 topics that I have written down, is about 17th. I mean, it's just unbelievable. What defense looked more pathetic this weekend in the NFL? I got to go with Pittsburgh's run defense, but the Eagles came up just short of being number one in their loss to the Bears on Friday, which Angel Martinez is still sick. Then he's sick about Alex Golesh leaving USF to go to Auburn. I tried to find the cut I told you the last couple of weeks, and Angel Martinez will back me up on this, about how many times it was only half tongue-in-cheek. I said, wait till this guy's coaching Auburn. Wait till this guy's coaching Auburn. Well, originally, when we left you on Wednesday, it looked like he was going to be coaching Arkansas. But then that fell through for whatever reasons. A lot of conspiracy theories about that, including the reporter who first had it out there. People are blaming him. I don't know about that. 5 different coaching changes in the SEC alone. And all sorts of stuff going on in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers got bludgeoned yesterday, absolutely bludgeoned by the Buffalo Bills. Shedeur Sanders yesterday, I watched most of that game because the Patriots weren't playing, so I had obviously Red Zone on, and I really focused on that game. Shedeur Sanders, I thought, overall looked pretty damn good. That was not his fault that they lost that game. That was Kevin Stefanski and his idiotic play calling that lost that game for the Cleveland Browns. I thought San Fran would win. I knew it was going to be a difficult game. But I thought Shedeur Sanders overall played a pretty good game against that team. I think his coach lost it, but we'll get into that. Marty McGee, I don't know how he got through security. I don't know how it happened, but somehow he tracks down Lane Kiffin before he got on the plane. We're going to get to that interview. Lane leaving officially for LSU. One of the huge stories of the weekend finally came to fruition. The Florida Gators, they're going Louisiana again, this time to Lane. And they're going to go with John Summerall as their head coach. And they're going to go with David Caldwell as the next general manager. Right now, he is currently in the Philadelphia Eagles front office as an executive. He's formerly the Jacksonville Jaguars GM. So we got that to get into. Michigan State's going to fire Jonathan Smith. We got Josh Prey, who is absolutely apoplectic about Ohio State continuing to win. We'll have his great Lions King analogy coming up in a little bit as well. And 32% of the country is now under snowfall, according to the latest weather maps from Maine to Colorado. Of course, here in Southwest Florida is a beautiful 65 degrees, high today of about 81. And we say good morning to the one and only Angel Martinez in Tampa, who I saw your wonderful sand sculpting pictures from Treasure Island up that way, which place one of my favorite places in Southwest Florida. They just had it down here a couple weeks ago, or last week, before you, the weekend before Thanksgiving, down here, the sand sculpting contest in Fort Myers Beach. But my goodness, my friend, how are you? It is a whirlwind. I don't ever remember in my life. Now, I'm going on 39 years of doing this as a living. We've had Black Mondays before where coaches get fired and everything else. I have never seen a whirlwind of coaching firings and hirings like I have in my life, like what we saw from after we get off the show on Wednesday up until yesterday. Absolutely unbelievable. Good morning, my friend, and hope your Thanksgiving went very well. And how are you doing? And how are you feeling? You got kicked in the nuts with the Eagles on Friday. Well, I'll say this: you got punched in the gut with the Eagles on Friday, and then you get kicked in the nuts. First, I kicked you in the nuts, and you kicked me in the nuts. I roast and bully for it, as Carter would say. And then with Golish going to Auburn, as predicted by me. Now, when it actually happened, and he went to Auburn. Did you want to, text me? I texted you first, and then but I was really only half tongue in cheek. I was really, because I knew he was not going to stay there. I just couldn't believe, and I still can't believe that he's not at Florida. That they went after another Louisiana guy. Not that John Summerall's not a decent coach, and he's had his downfalls the last couple of weeks, last few weeks. I know they won on Saturday, but the fact that he went to Auburn and not Florida. I don't know. Ryan Silverfield from Memphis is going to Arkansas. But let's stick with the obvious. This is all about Angel right here. Punch to the gut after the Eagles and that humiliating loss. And by the way, now the Bears would be the number 1 seed. And then or kicked in the nuts after that with Golish going to Auburn. Which one hurt more? Good morning.
Good morning. Both equally. I think with the Eagles is more of a pissed off situation, and Jeffrey Lurie's going to get involved after the idiot wonder that is Nick Sirianni, which everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of, decided to say there's nothing wrong with Kevin Patullo. Not so fast, dumbass, because Nick Sirianni has Jeffrey Lurie has other plans because he doesn't want to see this thing fall apart the seams the way it is right now. And if he doesn't get involved, he knows the fans are going to get involved. So Jeffrey Lurie will have a meeting with Nick Sirianni coming up this week, so I can't wait for that one to come out. But the whole situation with Alex Golish, because all season long, and everybody knew what was going to happen. You had called it early on, Pete, but everybody knew that he was going to go somewhere. And he kept saying every single postgame, every pregame, everything is always, we're not going here. Our roots are here. We love Florida. We love the area. My wife loves it here, blah, 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 blah. And in the end, he turns around and basically says, okay, maybe I was lying just a little because I can't do 2 things at once. Okay, fine. You had no problem going out there putting on the win against Rice. All right, everybody saw that one coming. But to tell the media on Saturday that Wednesday you had to process everything and you told your kids that, oh, by the way, I have to process this. Bro, how old are you? Process, wrap your head around, whatever other excuse you had. You knew you were going elsewhere, and that's fine. You know what? Congratulations. On you go. He did, help develop this program into 3 straight bowls, and I'm happy. That's great. But unfortunately, all these kids that were thinking about signing coming here because the recruitment class that you had, everything you did, it was basically like, thanks for coming. We appreciate you being here. I really had no intention of staying here until the end of the year. But I wanted to see where my next paycheck was coming from. And I went to the SEC and I went for higher pay. And good luck, USF, for the program you got coming up here. So, that's within that nutshell. Then there's
why is anybody surprised in this day and age? And this has been going on for decades. Yeah. I told you, I personally, before I was about a year and a half before I got in, there was March of 87 or April of 87. After the Final Four, I played golf with Rick Pitino, me and him, and my friend Joey Flynn's brother, the 3 of us, on a Sunday where nobody was. It was one of those weird days where nobody was. He sat there. We rode together for 4 hours, and he told me how he wouldn't leave Providence to go coach the Knicks. This is after the Friars went to the Final Four that year. That's just one scenario. This has been going on forever. And if people think the USF situation is bad, how do you think the people feel at Mississippi? Going on. It's the same old thing. And the bottom line is, through all of these coaching changes, because Golesh isn't going to coach in the bowl game for USF. None of these coaches that have been hired by the SEC are going to coach at their former teams in these bowl games. In the Lane Kiffin situation, the college football playoff, that is going to be to Golding, Pete Golding, who's going to take over that program. But this has been going on since for coaching, and really bad the last 25, 30. There is no loyalty. They all say coach speak. They all say the same thing. Lane Kiffin's talking about praying, and God told him to go to LSU. Okay, whatever. But the bottom line is, in all of this, it's the kids that get screwed. But it's not. This is not something that just happened 48 hours ago or 72 hours ago. This has been going on forever. And I see all these people that I don't know, some on social media. I don't know how old they are, how young they are. But this is nothing new. This is nothing new, and I'm going to just stick with college football and college basketball, with very, very few exceptions. Like Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, he had many opportunities to leave, both college and pro, and go coach. Could have coached the Lakers a long time ago. Mark Few stays at Gonzaga. There are very, very few exceptions like that. Mark Few's got a ton of offers to leave Gonzaga. He's not. I don't think he ever will. I think he's comfortable there. I take him at his word and all that stuff, even though they got clobbered by Iowa State the last game that I saw. But this coaching, anybody who ever believes, any coach, and I'm sticking with football and basketball here, in college, that says they're happy, their family's happy, it's all coach speak. It's all bullshit. You got to understand that. Why would anybody in this day and age take a coach at their word? And yes, I know things can change last second. I understand that, but I'm not stunned by the biggest stunner for me is that Florida went after John Summerall for Tulane and not Golesh. And I want to know, I can't wait to find out exactly what happened there, if they even contacted him, because they just went with the Louisiana guy, Billy Napier. Now you're going with an even sort of lesser program in Tulane, the guy that's had problems the last 3 or 4 weeks, even though they won on Saturday. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't understand why Florida, if you're going to make a move like that, why aren't you going after Golesh, who already has recruited in the state of Florida? Why aren't you beating Auburn to the punch? And maybe, and I look, I'm speculating here. Maybe they did, and Alex Golesh just said, "Hey, I don't want that job. I'd rather go to Auburn," which very well may be. But I find that fascinating that happened at this level. There were the John Gruden rumors that came out right away because he's in Tampa. Will he go to USF? Now, from what I am hearing is that USF is going to hire Jerry Mack from Kennesaw State, who will not coaching the Conference USA championship game, which he's in. Kennesaw State's had a good team. And like you pointed out, Angel, this would be the second time, if indeed it's true. That's not official yet. I'm saying what I have just seen over the last 24 hours is that Jerry Mack from Kennesaw State is going to be the next head coach at USF. But we shall see. But this is absolutely crazy. But I don't understand some of you out there who act surprised by any of this stuff. There is no loyalty. The people that get screwed are the kids who they claim to cherish. And for anybody to think, and Lane Kiffin, again, that's bullshit too. The part where he said, Lane Kiffin speaking with the AD, which we'll get to the Marty McGee interview in a second here. Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for LSU, Pete Golding going to take over, and started talking about, talking with he wasn't at the meeting, by the way, the bye-bye meeting. He was not. Keith Carter, the AD, wouldn't let him go, allegedly. So says Lane Kiffin, which you'll hear in the interview with Marty McGee. I still don't know how Marty McGee got through security, but he did to get this interview before Lane got on the plane. now it's going to be a question of how many kids follow him to LSU, because there will be some, and how many kids that are currently on this Mississippi State team, this Mississippi team, are not going to play in the bowl game, the college football playoff, which they most certainly are going to be in. But we'll get to all of that. I'll let you hear from Marty McGee's interview with Lane Kiffin. I got the video and all of that stuff. But my God, this the stuff where people are surprised. I don't know why you are. Coaches lie all the time. That's what it is, lying. They can talk about talking to God and their family and everything else. Usually it's the almighty dollar. Now we were led to believe that the almighty dollar was equal in LSU, Mississippi, and Florida. That's what we were led to believe. I don't know what's true, what's not true. The reason why Governor Landry, who's probably seems to have instigated this whole thing, why this happened. Because he's acting like he's the president and athletic director of LSU. The reports, that's a 7-year, $12 million deal, going to make him one of the highest paid coaches, plus another $25 million a year for expenses, nil money and coaching staff and all that stuff. Now, Lane also denies that he gave his coaches an ultimatum, like either you're on the plane with me or you're not coming at all. And he denies that. We'll hear from that. But Angel, overall, this is crazy. Now, I tried to warn you, my friend. I tried to warn you about Golesh. I tried, and I'm going back with about 3 or 4 games left. I go, if this continues, there's no way he's going to be one of the hot commodities. I'm just surprised it was Auburn and not Florida, and I want to know the backstory behind that. Eventually, hopefully, we'll find out why the Gators did not go after him. Why they thought that Summerall from Tulane was going to be a better hire than Alex Golesh. That's what fascinates me. Unless Golesh didn't want to go to the Gators and liked Auburn all along, because he was going to go to Arkansas. That's what it seemed like. And then this guy, Trey Shapp, who I don't know from a can of beans, and maybe our friend Jacob Davis does, and we have him on at 8:30. He reported that it was definite that Golesh was going to Arkansas. And there are people blaming him because I don't believe it, that Alex Golesh changed his mind because the story got leaked. I don't believe that for a second, that he changed his mind because of that. But there are people blaming the reporter that if he kept his mouth shut until Alex Golesh had a chance to talk to the team, talk to USF, and then was going to head to Arkansas, they're blaming the reporter. I don't buy it. Because I don't know 2 things. 1, I would never blame the reporter for this. 2, if Golesh had his mind made up to go to Arkansas, he's going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
All right, the fact that it got reported, who cares? But the fact that he didn't and ended up at Auburn, which again does not surprise me, I just want to know what choices he had. Did Arkansas actually put out a deal? And this is where Jacob Davis, who lives down there, is going to discuss with us at length and what he believes. What was the deal? What made the Auburn deal better? And why in the hell did Florida not go after him, a guy who's recruited very well in the state and could probably have taken a whole bunch of kids with him to the Gators? Now, he still might take a bunch of kids with him to Auburn. I think that's absolutely going to happen. But what a world we're in, Angel. I got a popsicle headache, but in a good way.
Gee, it was in a good way. Like I said, I'm not, Coach, again, congratulations. Thank you for everything you did for USF for the last 3 years. Obviously, they're going to another bowl game. Defensive coach going to end up taking over as interim once they announce the bowls and where they're going. So, my hat's off to him because he did a lot for the program. The only thing that upsets me the most is because be honest with the kids, the young men, because that's the one that's the biggest heartbreak, because you have guys like Byron Brown, he's graduating, he's fine. It's just the guys that maybe could have went to the portal, decided they want to go somewhere else, and he sold them a bag of goods to be here at USF. Not to include the ones he brought in like the second week into the season. So that's the only upsetting part about it. The more thing I'm just more pissed off is about the Eagles and the bullshit that these clowns keep putting up every single week. You got Jalen Hurts, who just is now to the point of, what do I do, Coach? What do I do? And then I was thinking about it. Remember the scene with Henry Winkler on Waterboy when he goes up to the board? He goes, here's what I envision. Here's what I play. If I can bring up the video later on, I'll bring it up. But he talks about, no, we're going to go to the left. No, we're going over to the right. No, I don't know what I'm thinking. Where am I going? Where am I? I need to sit down. That's where, to me, either where Jalen Hurts is or where Kevin Patullo is. He just take him away. Just do us all a favor, take him away, because it's going to get a lot worse. And then the fans, which I even said to my wife, Watch the Boo Birds come out at halftime. And she laughed about it because the fans are pissed off, is what it comes down to. You just came off another Super Bowl, and we look like the same 2018 schmucks that we did in 2023 when they won and they were on this high horse. I understand it's the first Super Bowl you won. But here we go again with the same nonsense. So it's either get rid of Nick, because I can't fucking stand him at this point, and or just get rid of Kevin, or just, if you don't want to get rid of him, figure out where the hell the problem is. But Jeffrey Lurie's going to get involved, and we'll get answers.
Well, we'll get Nick Sirianni's take on Kevin Petullo in a second. Then I'm going to get to Lane Kiffin and the Marty McGee stuff. But I'm not denying about the Kevin Petullo stuff. That stuff aside. But they're deep. The only rush defense that was worse was Pittsburgh's yesterday. The Bears went right through you. I mean, that's on the defense. That's on in the trenches. You guys got annihilated in the trenches. Not as badly as the Steelers did. Do you realize the 247 yards the Bills had yesterday was the most against the Steelers since in 50 years, since 1975? 50 years. That's when the Steel Curtain was just about starting to form there. I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable. They got manhandled. Joey Bosa clobbered Aaron Rodgers, had a bloody nose. Aaron Rodgers, totally expected, throws his receivers under the bus after the game, like the little kvetching, moaning, whiny little you-know-what that he is. Absolutely unbelievable. And you got people in Pittsburgh saying, fire Mike Tomlin, fire Mike Tomlin. This is what you get when your general manager, not Mike Tomlin, has Aaron Rodgers hold you hostage for the entire summer. And then at the last second, instead of you guys going out and getting, maybe you get a Sam Darnold, maybe you get somebody else. Aaron Rodgers stinks. He is done. Yep. Absolutely done. And nobody is surprised. I'm not surprised. I don't know why people are surprised or why people thought that he was going to come in there and not resurrect the franchise, but take them to the next level. Why did you people think that? He stinks. His last few years with the Jets and the Steelers, you got to be kidding me. The problem is Aaron Rodgers. The problem is not Mike Tomlin. Well, I do think it's time for a change. And I think there will be one, not during the season because they're still in it, technically. But I think Mike Tomlin, and I think he gives the Steelers an ultimatum, which he should have this year. Get me a fucking quarterback or I'm out of here. It's really that simple. Get me a quarterback or I'm out of here. But that team, I told you, the Steelers are way overrated. But Mike Tomlin, fire Mike Tomlin. It's not his fault that Aaron Rodgers stinks. It's not his fault. He didn't bring him in. He said all the right things, but Mike Tomlin didn't bring him in. This is on the Rooney family. You guys got Jedi mind trick because of the name Aaron Rodgers. You got sentimental about it. You didn't, you had a chance to go away from him. And not that Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph was going to be the answer, anything like that. But you had ample opportunity to go get another quarterback, and you fell in love and got Jedi mind tricked by Aaron freaking Rodgers. And he stinks. Absolutely stinks. He came out of the game. Mason Rudolph, first thing he does is throw an interception. But anyway, let's get here's Nick Sirianni about your boy Kevin Petullo. He ain't going anywhere.
No, we're not changing the play caller. But we will evaluate everything, and that's what this weekend we'll have another little mini bye, and I think that's another short week, another short week that leads to a long weekend where we'll evaluate everything. But again, like I said, after that, it's never just about one person, right? You win as a team, you lose as a team, and you try to evaluate everything. Win, lose, or draw, and get better from it.
Try to get better from it. I'm just shut up, dummy. Shut up. I'm so sick of his nonsense. We're gonna lose. No shit, Sherlock. We're gonna win as a team. No, really. Guess who wasn't in Pete? The message I sent you over the weekend. Who was not in our locker room over the weekend?
Big Dom.
Nope. The big guy.
Oh, who?
Jesus.
Yes. The baby Jesus was not around, but the baby Jesus was apparently in Oxford, telling Lane Kiffin to go to LSU. Not the money or anything like that, right, or the prestige. No, the baby Jesus said, go to LSU. Don't stay in Oxford and don't go to Gainesville. Go to LSU. Yeah. We'll hear from Lane Kiffin actually right now. Angel, if you could, but I got to play a little clip on the audio. If you could scroll down. And it's about 3 or 4 down. And under awful announcing, this is Lane Kiffin with Marty not with Marty Smith about the decision to, I keep saying Marty McGee. It's Marty and McGee, the show, but Marty Smith, who's a great reporter. But don't play it yet, because I want to play the initial cut here, which here's Lane Kiffin and Marty Smith. Oop, my bad. Unmute that.
You've just left your last meeting with the Ole Miss Rebels, and you're getting ready to get on an airplane to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. What is going through your mind right now?
Well, first, I just watched you do something unbelievable and go off-road around the fire trucks to get here, so amazing job by you. You know that this...
All right, now let's get to the video, Angel. I still don't know how, and I understand Marty Smith, and it's ESPN and Etsy, but I don't know how he is the only one that got to Lane Kiffin as opposed to every other media outlet that I'm sure wanted to get to Lane Kiffin. And you can see Marty's truck when you see this video behind the I mean, this is literally on the tarmac right before Lane Kiffin gets on a plane. The other thing that surprised me when you see this video is that Lane isn't in any type of purple or yellow outfit, not even a tie. It's very neutral. Anyway, here's Marty Smith and Lane Kiffin yesterday, right before Lane got on a plane.
A very challenging, difficult day. You know, we went through a lot last night with Keith Carter, trying to figure out a way, you know, to make this playoff, you know, run work and be able to coach the team. And at the end of the day, that's his decision, and I totally respect that. I understand that decision, and you know, so I just totally wish the team the best of luck. Wish that I was coaching, but understand that it was a very challenging position for him and the Chancellor to be in, and totally respect that. So, you know, just really hope they play really well and go win the national championship.
What drew this decision out so long?
It was really difficult. This has been a really special place. 6 years here. I know that there's a lot of feelings and emotions right now around. I hope when they settle down that there's an appreciation about what we were able to do here and having, you know, the best run that's ever been done in the history of the school, and brought some exciting times. So I'm so appreciative to the people of Oxford and the relationships that I developed here. And you know, when I spoke at my dad's funeral, he moved 17 times. And I realized when all the people, I got all the letters, calls, people showed up from around all those different spots, NC State, all the different spots he coached. And they said he was able to impact them and how much that meant to them. And so I've really strived since that day to really try to impact people and help people through life, through my journey. So just prayed a lot and made a family decision, and you know, hopefully get a chance to go, you know, impact a whole new set of people.
I understand you didn't attend the meeting today. Why not?
You know, again, I totally respect Keith's decision.
So that was his decision?
Yeah. He asked me not to come to the meeting and said I couldn't come, but which I totally understand. You know, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. You know, we're trying to find a way, you know, to make this work and coach the team and give the team the best chance to win. But I also, you know, he's got a job to do, and like he said, he has to live here. So, like he said, maybe all the national people understand why he should let me coach, but he has to live here, and it's a little different when you're the AD. So totally respect that, and Keith has been amazing to us over the 6 years.
Why was LSU the right choice for you?
Yeah, just, you know, there was something in me. This was really hard. My heart was here, but I just, you know, I talked to some mentors, Coach Carroll, Coach Saban, you know, and especially when Coach Carroll said, man, your dad would tell you to go, man, take the shot. You know, take the shot. You've accomplished a lot here. You know, I always hated how we only gave 1 year to Tennessee and left. I really hated that feeling of that, you know, even though it was an exciting year. But, you know, I think that we gave a lot to this program and to the city, and, you know, some of those historic wins in this stadium that we've ever had, and best regular season in the history of the school. So I feel proud of that part. But it just became time, you know. I talked to God and he told me it's time to take a new step.
Stop it. You talk to your accountant and your agent. That's who you talk to.
Exactly.
Talk to God. Yeah. Unbelievable. Now, the part about Keith Smart, and I'll let him, I mean, Lane Kiffin, I know it'd be nice if he'd like your, no AD is going to do this. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't matter. Golich is not going to coach USF. You're not going to have You're not going to have Ryan Silverfield coach Memphis. You're not going to have John Summerall coach Tulane. None of these coaches are coaching in their respective bowl games. It's just more intensified here in the Mississippi situation because they're in the college football playoff. And defensive coordinator Pete Golding was immediately promoted to head coach, at least for now anyway. And we'll see what happens. But stop with this stuff about talking to guys. You want to talk about your family, and you have roots there, which his ex-wife does. I mean, I understand that. But stop with how divine intervention made your decision. Stop it. Please, you're embarrassing yourself. It's ridiculous. How do you think those kids feel about divine intervention that had their coach leave them? You think they're praising God? You know, oh, thank God, Lane. Thank God, thank the Lord that Lane Kiffin left us high and dry here. Not the first coach to do it. Won't be the last coach to do it. But, you praising God while your kids are sitting there screwed. It's don't make one thing about Lane. Do not make yourself out to be a victim in all of this. Stop it, please. Stop it. You're not a victim. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I know you would have loved to have coached Mississippi in the college football playoff. It ain't going to happen. It was never going to happen. Talked about this for 2 weeks. No matter any of these coaches that leave, no AD in their right mind is going to let a coach stay and coach while they've accepted the job for another team. They all but up. Alex Golesh, you saw that. You saw him immediately. These guys are all decked out. I'm only surprised Lane Kiffin didn't have any purple and yellow getting on the plane. And by the way, it was like the president coming to Baton Rouge. When that plane landed, you talk about a police escort and all. I mean, it was like unbelievable. It's just a football coach. It's just a football coach.
It must have been like 20 unmarked cars. I'm like, really?
How much does that cost the taxpayers?
Plenty.
You really need 20 cars. You really need a police escort like that? I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Joshua said, thinking about palm trees at the Tiki Lighthouse. Love the Tiki Lighthouse. Yes, absolutely, on Fort Myers Beach. Oh, snowing. Josh is in Colorado, right? I heard, like I said, like 33% of the country is experiencing snow right now.
No, I thought Josh was up there in New England.
Oh, maybe he was. Okay, I forget. I lose track. All right, so Mississippi beats Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl 38-19 on Friday. They get into the college football playoff. There's no question about it. If we have time, we'll get to the Notre Dame people still are out of control. Miami routs Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, as I thought they would. And they, at least for this week, they'll be back in the college football playoff poll. They move up in the AP, which doesn't mean anything. But at least for this week, they'll be up there. There's talks about people wanting to take Duke out and put Miami in. It happened in 2020. There are exceptions to certain rules. Nobody wants to see a 6-5 Duke team in the ACC championship. People want to see Miami versus Virginia. I think it opens up a whole other can of worms if it happens. Josh says, remember Hurricane Radio? Yeah, I'd like to forget it, to be honest with you. Most unprofessional people I've ever worked with in my life back then. Thank God I only made one trip up there, and they did a couple of shows from the house, and that was that. That was a disaster. That's like 3 months of my life I wish had never happened. What a waste. Anyway, so yes, so the lane, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You just can't. It's never going to happen. Never will. Coaches leave, and you're not going to be able to coach your respective football or basketball teams as well. We'll see what happens here. I do want to, let's see. More from Lane Kiffin. Now, this happened earlier last week. Lane Kiffin confronts a reporter that, quote, he can't turn a hoe into a housewife. This from Trey Wallace.
Oh. I shouldn't defend that. So you want to walk in here and call me up? We'll see how it goes.
All right, you can't really hear it, but that's what he said. And then he was asked about confronting a reporter a couple of days later about that comment.
Over the last couple of weeks, I saw you post game. There was an incident right before you went into the locker room. It seemed like you were a little bit upset. Maybe about some things that went out over the last couple of weeks, or how things went wrong the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think, I understand you guys' job, and I think things are fair. Like I say, when questions come, those are fair questions. Maybe I can answer them. Maybe I don't see them. But when you call someone a hoe, that's a different level of stuff, can't make hose in the housewives, or something like that. That's about as bush league as stealing Trinidad's jersey like Mississippi State did last night. Luckily we had another one, but so I ain't got any respect for that.
I don't either, but that wasn't the comment. The comment was, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife post on act right. It's not calling you a hoe, it's about commitment. And that's what really the question is. You wanted the commitment from people were asking about where you're committed to, you're still not doing that. So you don't think there's anything wrong with being upset about something so innocuous as that, paying attention and have to win, especially in the bowl? Yeah, let's move on from that. Next question.
What's the
All right. So, I mean, it's a reporter that made the comment about can't turn a hoe into a housewife, but still, nevertheless, I know where he was going with that, but just it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how this went down over. I mean, I'm serious. 2 months ago, Angel, I never ever thought he was leaving. We saw the McGee interview, the Marty McGee interview on ESPN. And he went through everything, his family, his trials and tribulations, personally and professionally and everything else. I really never thought that he was going to leave, but there he is. He's gone. He has gone to LSU, and now, there's tremendous amount of pressure there as well. Is it really a better job at LSU than Ole Miss? I guess it depends on your perspective. Both get great crowds on a Friday night. LSU has a lot more quote unquote tradition. On paper, it seems to be a better job. But I talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Governor Landry kind of being at the helm here. I don't know how much power. I wasn't sure, unless Lane Kiffin has total autonomy, that he would take a job like this because the money seemed to be equal at Ole Miss and at Florida. But he chose LSU. But don't the kids, once again, on all of these coaching hires, they're the ones that suffer.
Yep.
And now I'm going to be interested to see whether not only is he taking a lot of his coaching staff with him to LSU, how many kids that are currently on this team that are in the postseason or that are in the college football playoff are not going to play in the college football playoff by either off the record or on the record conversations with Lane Kiffin saying, no, don't hurt yourself. You're going to be starting for me at LSU next year. We don't want that. And that's where it's going to be really, really interesting to me. All right, we got a lot more to talk about here because I'm only going to be able to get in like one break today, so might as well get it in right now. So Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Check them out at Phil Castanetti, Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. Also, for the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep, the staff combing through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. More NFL, more college football news. Josh Prey, hysterical video about Ohio State. And you guys as well, call or text the show, 727-858-6650. Jay Flanley up in Beeves World, where the Wolverines were dominated for the most part by Ohio State. We'll get his thoughts on that. And Jacob Davis from covers Ole Miss and Arkansas for Hottie Toddy News and Hogs On SI will join me at 8:30 this morning. We'll delve deeper into all of these SEC hirings, but particularly Lane Kiffin and also the Arkansas hiring of Ryan Silverfield. All coming up, part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a maniacal Monday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
And he is taking control in this drive. Play action. Whole shot to the sideline. Oh, what a one-handed catch. Did he hold on? Malachi Tony. He did. What a catch by the freshman. Let me tell you, this is a heck of a throw as well. For him to be able to get that ball over.
Saying splits out of the pocket. Looks backside. Down the field. Tate. Touchdown. Taylor. Home run hitter. 50 yards.
Highlights from the Canes. A dominating win. Malachi Tony, the best freshman in the country, period. And the Canes dominate on the road in Pittsburgh. And Ohio State pretty much did the same thing. Not quite a bigger score against the Michigan Wolverines. Gus Johnson acting like, once again, it's the Super Bowl every single play. Anyway, welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show. Ohio State beats Michigan for the first time in 5 years. And Jay Flanley, I'm sure, will be very fair and impartial about the entire situation coming up at 8:05 this morning. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Again, college football, the poll's coming out tomorrow night, the college football playoff poll. The conference championships are next week. The debate between Miami. You saw Texas A&M fall to Texas. Texas is going to be in the debate, even with 3 losses. Alabama is going to be interesting. If they lose to Georgia, they'll have 3 losses. Should they be in? There are people out there like myself that think Miami should be number 10 right now. They should pole vault into the 10 spot. BYU got down by 14 early, and then they came back and won by 20, 41 to 21. But Alabama struggled with Auburn. And I'm sure, they did drop a bit in the AP, well, they stayed in the AP poll. But will they drop tonight? Because style points apparently count. Apparently, depending on who you talk to, the committee people won't say that they do. Not so many words, but we know that they do. And the debate lingers, and it's just a shame right now, as currently constituted, that in the ACC championship, it would be Virginia versus Duke, because SMU. And it's good for Miami fans. It's SMU got upset by Cal. I'm trying to find that cut. Here it is. In case you missed it the other night.
Kick is up. And the kick is no good.
No, Cal wins. SMU loses. Whew. Yeah, man, I'm telling you. All these coaching changes, and I'd like to hear from you guys what you think is the most significant one. Or, I mean, obviously, Lane Kiffin is the big story. Leaves Ole Miss for LSU. Pete Golding going to take over the defensive coordinator. Alex Golesh first left for Arkansas, and I really thought, Angel, that he was going to go there. It certainly seemed that way. This guy, Trace Schapp, I guess it's not the first time. I don't know who he is, but I know he was getting vilified for, quote-unquote, blowing the deal because he reported the story first. I'm not buying that. First, he said Golesh was going to Arkansas, and then at the end, obviously, he left for Auburn. Arkansas going to hire Ryan Silverfield from Memphis, and Florida is hiring Tulane's John Summerall, and certainly right now it looks like that USF, South Florida, is going to hire Jerry Mack from Kennesaw State. That seems to be the big name out there, although John Gruden's name was tossed out and about as well, if you believe that. We heard from Marty Smith and Lane Kiffin. David Caldwell, by the way, will be joining John Summerall in Florida as the new Florida Gators GM. Reportedly, he's now an executive in the Philadelphia Eagles front office and used to be the former Jacksonville Jaguars GM. So he is headed there. Looks like as well. What a crazy weekend, Angel Martinez.
Yep. Insane. No, it wasn't. It isn't just nuts overall. I mean, so many stories that went on. So many stories that started from Thursday, basically all the way forward. But yeah, it's been a nutty weekend. I also saw the picture of they had Lane Kiffin's clothes outside of the office, like on a sidewalk somewhere, tell them to come pick up your stuff. whatever that case might be. But, sometimes I wish I was in some of these offices just to hear like the conversations, like, how dare you, or how are, the combos go. But it was nuts, but not to be expected. And then tonight is going to be a really good game, I think, in my opinion. And with the Giants, your Patriots, I think it's going to be, I'm looking forward to that game this evening. So that'd be a good one. But
I hope it to blow up, but I'm expecting the Patriots to win by 10, but it's close until the end. I think Jackson Dart. I'm a Jackson Dart guy. I'm a Jackson Dart fan. So the Patriots still banged up on the offensive line a little bit, but this still is a game that they should win. I mean, they're in no position. No NFL team is in position to take anybody for granted. Look what the Rams yesterday. Troy Stafford he took 2 picks, including a pick 6 in the first quarter. And, the Carolina team the Patriots annihilated goes on and beats arguably the best team in the NFC, or was, in the LA Rams. But still a lot of football left. You can't take anybody for granted. By the way, here's Jackson Dart on being patient to be cleared from concussion protocol.
You mentioned being patient. I guess you mentioned how difficult that is, but just take us through that. How difficult is it just to kind of have to be like, you can't play when you want to, even though you have that drive, like, I feel ready. But how is that like for you to be patient and have to like wait until they clear you?
It's hard. I feel like every day goes by slower, and you're hoping and praying that you're going to go in and pass your test to make it. So I think I bit more nails off my fingers than I have in a long time being on the sideline watching. But it's definitely not fun to feel like you have no control over the outcome of the game, but you just try to be the best teammate that you can.
All right. We have one more from Jackson Dart as well. Started his press conference by thanking Brian Daboll for everything he did for him.
Just want to open with something real quick. Obviously, there's been a lot that's happened since I've been up here. And, I just want to acknowledge, Coach Dabes and, all that he did for me.
Hi, Dabes.
Just when I look back on everything, it's really special to come to a place where a coach genuinely cares about you and loves you, and you have that, personal relationship on and off the field. So, I just have all the respect in the world for him. Think he's an incredible offensive mind. He's done an amazing job developing up until this point. And, this business is a beast, man. And, give a shout out to Coach Shane as well. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to get enough wins for them.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's great. Jackson Dart. So, yes, Patriots are banged up on the offensive line, but look, they still should be able to handle this team. But look at the Giants. Giants played the Lions very tough last week as well. That game went in overtime. So it's a very unpredictable league. I certainly expect the Patriots to win tonight at home, but I don't take anybody for granted. I don't think it's going to be 42-10 or anything close to that or anything like that. But I do believe that the Patriots will come out on top. Giants have a new defensive coordinator in Tim Kelly. Everybody is celebrating that. And real quick, is Officer Sean still on the line?
Give me a second. Yes, he is.
All right, quick. You got about 90 seconds, Deputy Sean. Go ahead. Give me your take on tonight's game. The Giants and the Patriots. And I know you're happy that Tim Kelly, he's the offensive coordinator, but Charlie Bullen is the interim defensive coordinator. That's who you're most excited about.
Oh, yeah, because like the players have been saying, they've already stated how he's already preaching aggressiveness, something that Shane Bowen has lacked to do this season. It's obvious by the way we've blown five or six leads now, especially against Detroit. Another game where if they just would have played aggressive, they would have won defensively in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, I'm excited for that. So I think this defense is going to be a different defense than people have seen this year. I mean, the defense still did great the first three quarters. It was the fourth quarter that burned us, but I think this is about to be a lethal pass rush, especially with Bill Carter hopefully being the position he's supposed to play in instead of Bowen just keep dropping him out. So maybe
you want him rushing the passer at linebacker. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, he's going to have to cover guys eventually. He's going to.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't really rush with him. They just always dropped him into coverage, and people are complaining, "Oh, he's not getting sacks." Well, he's not getting sacks because Bowen just keeps dropping him into coverage. I mean, he's got a high pressure rate and a high quarterback hit rate, but he can't get the sack because 9 times out of 10 he's in coverage.
No, I'm with you, and I know certain teams that's going to and schemes that there's going to be times against the Patriots where he's going to have to drop back in the coverage. But I agree with you 100%. He's got to be rushing Drake May.
Yeah, he's got to be
rushing Drake May, especially with the Patriots. Move him around with that left side of the Patriots offensive line banged up. I expect Abdul Carter to be like all over the place tonight. All over the place.
It should be interesting. Him and Burns should be interesting tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And you're happy Jackson Dart is back. I mean, that's obviously a big plus.
Don't get me wrong. I loved Jameis Winston. I loved him watching because again, the Packers and Lions game, two very much games we could have won with Jameis Winston if the defense didn't blow it in the fourth quarter. But Jameis Winston, he's fun to watch. I can't wait to see him continue with the Giants next year and continue helping Dart develop. I agree with Dart. Like I said, I agree with him when it comes to Dayball. It kind of sucks Dayball got fired, but at the end of the day, Dayball did it to himself by putting Dart in harm's way to try to save his job. And the fact that he would refuse to fire Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen should have been gone after giving up 26 points in the fourth quarter to the Denver Broncos. It's something that should have been done. I guarantee you if Shane Bowen gets fired after that Denver game by Dayball still has his job because he's not running Dart headfirst into the defense every play trying to get something to create a win.
No, I hear you. And we'll see. But, Shane still has his job as general manager. But Mike Kafka, I'm sure you got him. You got a new DC. I expect this game. I'm going to pick the Patriots by 10, but I think it's a close game until the fourth quarter. The Patriots get like a late field goal to cover, win by 10. But this should be. I'm expecting a real good game tonight. I really am.
Giants and Eagles on Thursday Night Football, where no one thought the Giants stood a chance against the Eagles, and then it just went out and became a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be somewhat. It's not going to be like how we blew out the Eagles, but I think it's going to be a close game between the two.
We'll see, Sean. Deputy Sean, thanks. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Appreciate the call as always. And
no problem. I hope you guys.
Back tomorrow.
Thanksgiving went good too.
Okay, thanks.
All right, have a good one, guys.
All right, see you later.
All right, couple things I want to get in before Jay Flanley comes on. We haven't even really scratched the surface on the NFL today because there's actually a lot of bad. The NFL has not been great this year. I don't even know if it's been very good. There've been a lot of bad games, yesterday. And I'm telling you right now, and Shadur Sanders, God bless him, took the high road yesterday because if he had any chance and opportunity, he could have thrown Stefanski under. Kevin Stefanski lost that game for the Browns yesterday, not Shadur Sanders. Shadur Sanders played, I thought, pretty well. He had a bad sack, maybe, and he had a couple of missed throws, one in Judy in the first quarter. But I thought overall, he played really well, to be honest with you, for his second game against that defense. And don't let the score fool you. Kevin Stefanski fucking lost that game with 3 stupid, idiotic 4th and 1s that went nowhere. And Shadur Sanders wasn't even in the game for, I think, 2 of them. I think all 3 of them. This Wildcat nonsense that he did. I mean, I don't get it. I thought Stefanski blew the game. All right, couple of videos here. Angel, right under the show. This happened last night. NBC analyst Rodney Harrison. Many fans concerned for his health after this awkward segment with Little Collinsworth, who I don't like, and Tony Dungy on the NBC pregame show last night. Check this out.
Just disorganized in the run defense. I think they get their young running backs going tonight and then take shots to your favorite guy, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I look at... I forgot the group. I'm sorry.
Washington defense from that group. Best way to attack that group tonight, do you believe?
Best way to attack them. They don't
what have you seen from Washington's defense?
I'm sorry. They just don't have... It's a lot of stuff going on. I'm sorry, guys. They don't have a lot of discipline on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
That's it.
They sure don't. And I want to get over to something else, too, Coach, because I was looking at Bo Nix.
Just disorganized.
Okay, couple of things. One, and I hope this is the part that's true, he's got about a zillion people, for whatever reason, in his earpiece, not just one producer, but say there was some sort of a fuck-up by NBC last night, or there's something going on there. I hope it's the first and not the latter, because that was as awkward as it gets. And we know, I'm sure you've had earpieces. I've had, sometimes you get more than one producer in your ear telling you, okay, you got 10 seconds to wrap up. You got 20 seconds to do this. You have 30. And I don't know if we had multiple people in his headset or what. I'm hoping that's the case. But that was and I was watching it live. That was frightening to me because I'm going, what's? I thought he was going to collapse or something. I was like, what the hell's going on? That's not him, And it just seemed really awkward. I hope it's not a health issue. That's all.
Hopefully not. No, but you're right, though. There are a lot of times when you go to either cutting from a commercial, cutting back. Sometimes I was just saying, like, there's a breaking segment and everybody's like saying something, and depending on which preference your ear you like the earpiece in, but hopefully that's exactly what it was. That maybe someone was, multiple people were in his ear, but because he's never ever stuttered or been baffled by any question, and it did seem really weird.
Yeah, no, it really was. All right, before Jay comes on, I want to get this in, and we got time to touch on more NFL stuff coming on. Okay, I want to scroll down. You might have to scroll down a little bit, Angel. Our man, great comedian from Southwest Florida, Josh Prey, and it's under Just Josh Prey, and he says Ohio State just won't die. Hang on a second here, and then he's coming to Off the Hook Comedy Club here down here in Naples. He's coming home for the first time in 6 years. To perform one night only. I think I'm going to be there on December 18th. It's a Thursday, but this is another hysterical take with great analogies. This time, not about the Gators, but about Ohio State, how they won't go away. But here's Josh describing it in his own colloquial way.
I want y'all to imagine if Scar would have killed Mufasa and Simba never came home and Scar would have just been there forever. That's the Ohio State Buckeyes. Look at the mascot. Look what they did. Look what he did in the end zone at Michigan. Ohio State is Thanos. If Thanos would have never lost, he's that evil villain that never loses. Like, you kill them and they wake up the next morning like, you ain't killed me. Ohio State is Kenny from South Park. Like, they die, but they just won't die. All I wanted Michigan to do was beat Ohio State. Just knock them off. Just do that for me. I can't take it. Like, this is a poisonous nut. I've been told so many times over the last 3 weeks that Ohio State Buckeye isn't a piece of candy. It's a poisonous nut. If you eat it, you die. If you have a peanut allergy, you're going to die if you stand next to an Ohio State Buckeye fan. It's a poisonous nut. This might be one of the hardest pitches I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about Puff Daddy after taking 19 Viagra's hard. Imagine being Michigan. Imagine having a plan before the game that we not going to let Ohio State plant their flag in the middle of our field. You have a plan to lose. People ain't even thinking about that part. Y'all got together and said, once we lose, we going to go to the middle of the field so they don't plant a flag. This was as the Titanic sunk. Michigan is the Titanic. As they sank, Ohio State is the iceberg that sank them in this damn picture. Imagine looking up at your rivalry, celebrating in your stadium, and they looking down on you. Sick, and they won't stop. Ohio State fans don't even watch the game. They watch you watch the game. So as soon as the game over, they can just whisper in your damn ear. And you can't say nothing like, no, OH. And if you don't finish the OH, they won't stop saying OH until you say I-O. Back to them. I don't know where they get their players from. Okay, Jeremiah Smith built like he benched Cadillacs. Like, they walk into a damn room and say, I want this one. Nah, that one ain't 6'5", 243 pounds as a 17-year-old. Skip him. I want that one. A couple weeks ago, I said, I ain't even know who their quarterback was. Nobody cared. Damn it, I know what a saying is now. I know what Macaulay Culkin in The Good Son is now. Cool, calm, collected. I was like, they finna beat the brakes up Ohio State. He threw an interception in the first quarter. It's over. I go to the bathroom, come back, it's snow on the ground. Caucasian God from the Caucasus Mountains is going the hell off. That this a damn teenager? Y'all want me to believe that this is a damn teenager? Look at the man damn trap right there. The man trap look like the state of Florida on his damn arm, man. Where do they find these kids, man? The coach is so good that they meet each other in the middle of the field and shake each other hands. They meet each other in the middle of the field and shake each other hands like, hey, how you doing, buddy? I ain't seen you since that ass kicking started in the first quarter. Good to see you, Ryan. Ohio State Buckeyes is the iceberg that sank college football, and we can't stop it. I hate them. I'm having a meltdown, and I'm a Gator fan.
Well, no question. No question. Look, Ohio State dominated for the most part after the first quarter. They dominated. I mean, they didn't win by 30, but that was a pretty convincing win. Meanwhile, my Miami Hurricanes, who I will put up against anybody in the country with the amount of talent that is on that team, and I'm going to play the cut right now from Coach Saban on Saturday on College Game Day. This is coming from Nick Saban. His thoughts on the Hurricanes. This is before they walloped the Panthers in Pitt. Oh, hang on. That's my bad. Unmute that thing, you stupid idiot. All right, hang on. That's me. Okay.
I think if Miami finds their way into the playoffs, they will be one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs. Forget about the ACC. I mean, with Carson Beck, the offensive line they have, the skill guys they have, the defense they have, I don't want to say they underachieved by losing 2 games, but if they get in this playoff, they're going to be the most dangerous team that anybody has to play because of the talent level they have.
100% agree. Absolutely 100%. And hopefully, somehow, some way, that they will get in. Hopefully, somehow, that way, they will get in. All right, Jay Flanley is going to join us in just a couple of seconds here. Here's Ryan Day on beating Michigan for the first time.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Jim.
6 years. You've been waiting and working to celebrate this. How does it feel?
I'm just happy for our players. They worked really hard. I'm happy for our coaches. They worked really, really hard. And, we had a good energy this week. We had confidence coming in. And, man, the guys played tough. They played physical. We won the line of scrimmage, and I'm just happy for our guys.
There's so much emotion. We're still seeing it on display. What will it mean to you, to your family, and to your fan base to celebrate in Ohio tonight?
Well, we're gonna win with humility, and I'm just happy for a lot of people right now. I can't name them all, but it means a lot.
Go enjoy it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, just like that. No shame in losing 27-9. Not a big deal. It's unfortunate that the Wolverines couldn't turn 2 field goals into touchdowns early on in that game. Would have changed the entire dynamic. But here to dissect and analyze and be always fair and impartial after this type of a game is the one and only Jay Flanley up from Beeves World in Ann Arbor. Is it still snowing there, Jay? And good morning. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Can't hear you, Jay. He's going to punch. Don't turn green on me. Don't go Hulk. Nope. I see you. I can't hear you. I see your happy and handsome face. I can't hear you. You might have to log back off and log back on. Okay. All right. While we're doing that, here's some more college football highlights. Let's see. Hopefully, come back on. Can't hear you, Jay. Can see you fine. Cannot hear you. Is your mic muted or anything on your headset muted or anything? Sometimes that could come into play. No, can't hear you. Yeah, I'd restart your laptop. I'd restart the laptop and see what happens from there. All right, we're waiting for Jay. Actually, let me play some NFL highlights. Let's go to let's see. We talked about I talked about earlier about the 49ers and their win. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. God, sometimes I'm like, Jay, you want to smash something? Like, I really feel like I want to take this thing and huck it. Is that even a word?
You know what you need to do is remember when they used to sell the fake bricks where you could throw at the TVs? That's what you need, a fake brick and throw at the laptop.
All right, here we go. Here's getting to the highlights of the 49ers 26-8 win over the Browns.
The back. Sanders to the air. Gets a block. Hit as he throws. Caught wide open. Fannin 5. Touchdown, Cleveland.
That was a hell of a play and a hell of a throw right there. with Harold Finn Jr. and that 34-yard touchdown pass from Shedeur Sanders. They got the 2-point conversion as well. It made it 8-7. But then Kevin Stefanski got stupid and his game management was awful. Not three straight, but it seemed like it, 3 times that he went for it on 4th and 1. Bad situations, bad play calling, bad. And the 49ers took advantage of all of those things. They're too good of a team not to, and they beat the Browns 26-8. But I believe the game was a lot closer than that. I think Shedeur Sanders played a hell of a lot better than the score would indicate. And Shedeur Sanders defends the cause by Kevin Stefanski after the game.
What did you see on those 4th and 1, those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work? And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think, it was a great call by my coach,
Do you like the aggression? Do you like the call? Do you like?
I like being out there playing. so whatever that comes with, it comes with. We're not gonna be here and ever point finger at no coach or do anything like that.
Smart by him. Smart by him. I thought he played better. I thought Kevin Stefanski, I thought this is one of those games where this was not on the quarterback like it was with Aaron Rodgers, which we'll get to in a second. This was on Kevin Stefanski. He coached like a jackass in that game. He really did. And he didn't put Shedeur Sanders and that offense in the best position to win. I don't know how you don't have him out there, just for the possibility that he could run RPOs. And they just ran the ball wildcat up the middle, stupid. And got stopped every time. It was absolutely horrible. How about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yes, Godwin back, Bucky Irving back, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hold off the Cardinals.
On 2nd and 5, it's Bucky Irving. Got a block towards the goal line, in for a Tampa Bay touchdown. It's his first of the year. Back in the lineup.
Thanks to Foxen with the call right there. Okay, I think we have Jay Planley back. Jay, can you hear me? No, can't hear him.
Still can't hear you, Jay.
Call in. Might have to have you. Jay, why don't you just call in? That's fine. We'll stick your happy and handsome face up there. Why don't you call in at 727-858-6650, and then we can figure out. You can leave your camera on if you want. Just call in 727-858-6650, and we'll try that. Did this happen last week? I can't remember.
No, but it wasn't with, it was, crap. Who was it? It wasn't with Jay, though. Jay was just fine. It's the first time he's ever at not being able to come on with us, but no, it wasn't because of him.
Can you call in?
He's trying to. Hang on.
Oh, he's trying to. Alrighty. Oh, righty then. While he's doing that, here is Todd Bowles' jokes about Tristan Wirfs. How about that touchdown?
Yeah, as soon as he came off the field, he asked me for number 87. I had pain, not caught a ball. I would have considered it.
This is the play he's talking about.
Otten in motion. Look for Otten, not there. Goes the other direction, and it's Tristan Wirfs. The All-Pro.
Here we go. Bucks win 20-17. All right, do we have Jay?
No, hang on. He's still trying to dabble on. Give me a second. All right. Give me 1 second. Jay, give me a second before I bring you up here. This is always a fun part when you have to do stuff on the line.
Okay. While you're doing that, let's get to another highlight here. And as Carolina, how about this? Big upset over the Rams.
2 for 2 today is Carolina. On this crucial 4th down, Young, McMillan, got it! Touchdown, Panthers lead!
Yep, that's a final 31-28. A very entertaining game yesterday. One of the few entertaining games yesterday. There's some bad football that was out there yesterday. I mean, the Jags clobbering the Titans 25-3. That wasn't really good. Texans over the Colts was pretty interesting as I'm watching Red Zone. The Texans win 20-16. Dolphins and the Saints, who cares? Dolphins have won 3 in a row. Yay. They beat the Harpless Saints at 21-17. Jets and Falcons was actually somewhat entertaining considering two teams that stink. Jets win 27-24. Vikings, no match whatsoever for the Seahawks. Absolutely no match whatsoever. They got clobbered 26-0. And the Bills just dominate the Steelers. Steelers gave up more rushing yards than they have in 50 Years. The Eagles tried, came close on Friday to giving up almost as much on the ground, but didn't happen. All right, Jay, are you there?
I should be. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear
you.
How you doing? How was your Thanksgiving? How was your weekend? Besides the game, but how was your weekend?
Everything was good outside of noon on Saturday.
Well, look, I think you had to be frustrated in the first quarter that he didn't turn one of those field goals into a touchdown. I think both the chances could have been touchdowns. Changes the whole dynamic of the game, but that's the thing. In a game like that against that team, right? I mean, you got to come up with 7, not 3.
Yeah, that's kind of where they lost the game. But there's a lot of things going on here. Their lack of development of the passing game. Ohio State being really good. Coach Patricia doing a really good job with that defense. They got a lot of good players. You know, I'm sitting there after the game with my friend on Ohio State, and I got Drew Rosenhaus, who's got about 7 of their players behind me. And they're really good. They got a good team. They kicked our ass. They pushed us around. They finally changed the narrative about the line of scrimmage. They completely dominated both sides of the ball, line of scrimmage, particularly on offense, which they haven't done in years against us. And, I was talking to people about this before the game. They're like, oh, they got all these wide receivers. I'm like, they've had wide receivers forever. Go look at the 21 game. They couldn't find reps for Jamison Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., and we kicked their ass.
Yeah.
I mean, their starting receivers were Smith-Ajubia, Garrett Wilson, and Olave, and we beat their brains in. If they didn't make some ridiculous catches, we would beat them by 5 touchdowns. The Aiden and Cade McNamara, Hassan Haskins team in 21. So, a lot of credit to them. They played really, really well. They shut me up. And, unfortunate, the nonsense at the end of the game. But, I mean, they create that nonsense with the M, erasing M everywhere. And, they're obsessed with us. That's great. Have a nice day, literally, figuratively.
I've talked about, I don't know why. It's just so childish. I don't know what you're trying to prove. You won the game, get off the field. Shake hands and get off the field. I don't know what the hell you're trying. Okay, you put you spell out Ohio in the snow. Lottie fucking freaking da. What does that make you feel better? You're going to hang that picture on your wall above your bed and, look at it with one hand? I mean, I don't get it. It's a childish, stupid, idiotic obsession with somebody, not just Ohio or Michigan. It goes on in a lot of places, and it's unnecessary. You won the game, you beat your rival, you did it on the road, you go in the locker room and celebrate. It's because you rode Ohio. I don't care if you pissed it in the snow. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. What are you trying to prove? And the fact that, Michigan's got to stand there, they're all up on the stands, and they're all high. The Buckeyes are all up on their stands with their people, and Michigan's like forming a wall like it's the end of Game of Thrones. I'm expecting Jon Snow to come out with a dragon or something like that. But that's just, it's unnecessary. It just is. But we digress. If all I had to see, Jay, was Bryce Underwood, 8 of 18 for 63 yards, so you can't win. There's no team that can win with that. No way.
Well, if you want, we can deep dive into why this is where we are and why he's in the situation he is. I'll give you 2 words: Los Angeles. Our former head football coach, who didn't recruit for 3 years, tried to leave to go to the NFL. And if you look at our team, all of our high-end players are either one or 2 things: all portal kids, or high-level character guys like Max Bredesen and Martin Klein and guys like that, or really young players like Underwood, the 3 offensive linemen that are redshirt freshmen playing, and the 2 portal running backs got hurt. Then we're down to our walk-on, number 24. The 2 receivers, one's a freshman, the other one's the kid from Indiana, the transfer, and obviously Underwood, who we had to go out and buy. And Harbaugh, who's supposed to be this goddamn quarterback genius, told everybody that Dante Moore and C.J. Carr couldn't play. Pete, how are Dante Moore and C.J. Carr's teams doing?
Fairly well. Absolutely.
Yeah. Are they pretty good players?
Yes, they are.
We could do a Caden McNamara, J.J. McCarthy type of thing where we have a established star quarterback playing, and the young backup who's a super talent comes in and kind of gets some reps and learns on the job type of thing. Can we do that if we had a good coach who tried to build the team instead of trying to leave every 5 fucking minutes in 3 years?
Well, what do you think is going to now? Again, saying the quarterback for Ohio State. I mean,
Where did Ohio State get him from?
I don't know where they get him from. I don't know. I don't remember.
He was a Bill O'Brien recruit at Alabama.
Ah, well, he was 6 for 6 for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns on 3rd and 4th down in the first half. That was the difference in the game, including that 4-yard throw on 3rd down.
He played great.
Yeah,
he played great. But again, Dave's taking care of that position, and people don't understand this. The only reason why we have Bryce Underwood is the Larry Ellison guy. Not like Michigan did anything extraordinary and found to develop the guy and brought him in like they did with Cade McNamara and JJ McCarthy and Chad Henne and Devin Gardner and Denard Robinson and Rick Leach and Satan himself in Los Angeles and Tom Brady, Elvis Gerbach, Todd Collins, Brian Greasy, all the guys we've had to play quarterback over the years. Steve Smith, Johnny Wangler, So we did a bad job with the development of the position because kids read and pay attention online. They know what's going on. When you got the head football coach on a visit on signing day to go try to meet a Minnesota Vikings coach, it's a lot like what Lane Kiffin just did. The kids, they know what's going on. There's no secrets today with the internet. We'll talk about the Michigan State thing because that came out of nowhere. But
but that doesn't surprise me.
This team, the position it is in, because of what Jim Harbaugh, hell, our 2 inside linebackers are portal kids. This is Michigan. We have no developed players on our team.
So
Matt Bredesen's the captain of the team. He's a walk-on.
What?
I mean, think about that. Our 3rd running back is a walk-on. Michigan, because the guy was trying to leave for 3 years. Our team's a mess. Well, Pete, we didn't have a kicker. We had to go get a portal kicker.
So what?
Is a portal kicker from Arkansas State? The punter's a portal kid. What I'm saying.
So
it's ridiculous. Look at our team compared today. Their whole team's all 5-star guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going and getting portal guys because the coach tried to leave for 3 years. And I'm sorry if anybody's offended or hurt, but I'm speaking the fucking facts. Let me know when I'm saying something that's not true.
Yeah, so how do you correct it? They certainly have the resources.
We're doing what we're doing now. Sharon's turned the team around. He's had a lot of good young players. This team is light years in a better situation than last year's team. We're going to have a lot. We're going to bring in some more receivers besides Marsh. McCauley's going to graduate. The running backs, Hayes is going to go to the NFL, but they have some running backs coming in to go with Jordan Marshall. Obviously, Underwood's back. Got a group of tight ends. The offensive line is going to be a lot better. Our defense is going to be fine. I thought the defense played fairly well in the game Saturday. They were just on the field the whole game. There was some stat Joel Klatt talked about with 8 minutes left in the game. We had run 35 plays. I mean,
yeah.
The funny thing is, Pete, when you saw us run our first play and we got 35 yards on a simple running play, what did you think?
Well, I thought
again. Hassan Haskins, Brock Tackle, 5 touchdowns.
In the first quarter, after the interception, I said, this is going to be very similar to last year. I'm thinking this is going to be Michigan like 20-17. I really thought that you would capitalize after that interception. I was like, oh, right now Ohio State must be doing at least mini poopy pants. Like, oh, no, not again. Here we go.
You're right.
It didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, it was tough. When you settle for field goals, Pete, you and I have seen and done enough of this. When you settle for field goals, you lose games.
Yep.
And particularly when you're the underdog, when you have opportunities to pounce on guys, you got to do it. And we didn't do it. We let them hang around. And congrats to them.
But you have the money and the resources to correct this sooner rather than later. As you said, your team's in money, so it can happen. With a team like Michigan,
let me outline something else. You have to re-recruit your players every year. You look at Ohio State. I mean, they took Caleb Downs from Alabama, and there's some other guys on their team. The tight end Max Clare they got from Purdue, and some of my buddy Joey V. He came from here. He's on their team. So you got to go out and find guys. And in an ideal world, we wouldn't have had if Jim Harbaugh had done his job instead of thinking about himself and Jim, and gone to the NFL.
Imagine
And
a
our
coach,
roster
imagine
would
a
have had a
coach
bad
doing
start.
that. Imagine a
We
coach
would have had maybe Dante Moore, CJ Carr, somebody like that. And instead, he chose to care about the one thing he cares about, himself. Doesn't give two shits about Michigan. It's Jim, not the team. And that's where we are. And I really don't care if I piss everybody off.
Do you think
anybody doesn't understand what I'm talking about isn't paying attention?
All right. What about Bryce Underwood? Can he continue to develop here? Do you get him a little latitude as a true freshman, and all that? And imagine Jay, a coach, only caring about himself, because that never happens. But what are your thoughts on Underwood? Can he continue to develop? Or
I'm probably risking my life saying this on your show, so you figure that out. But no, I think a lot of Underwood. He's working with Drake Mays, old offensive coordinator. We're going to get better pieces around him. He's going to learn and develop. He's 18 years old. When I was 18 years old, Pete, I'm going to let you know a secret. I wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Hell, I'm 54 now. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But it is what it is, and we'll figure it out. He's a big part of our future, obviously. We saw how bad Arch Manning was at the beginning of the year. I mean, remember, he sucked against that team, too. So we'll see. But
Arch Manning sucked against a lot of teams that weren't even close to Ohio State. And yes, I know he's playing better. Yeah, they beat. I get it. Texas A&M. I understand. But yeah, that's
I'm sure they'll get more coverage, Pete, that he completed a pass.
Yeah,
I'm being very sarcastic.
Yes, I know. All right, quickly here, a couple of things here. You mentioned Michigan State. You say you're surprised. I'm not surprised that John Smith got fired. I was expecting it.
No, I'm surprised they hired Pat Fitzgerald.
Well, okay.
I'm wondering, Pete. I'm wondering, Penn State has to have something up their sleeves if they didn't hire Pat Fitzgerald.
Unless they were told by the upper administration,
NFL person. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things going on. I think it's pretty obvious at this point. Lane Kiffin was not announcing what he was doing because he was looking at the Alabama job. If DeBauer lost and got fired, he was going to take the Alabama job. He wasn't. That's why he didn't commit to LSU or anything else before.
There's so many theories going around. I don't know what to believe. To be honest with, as far as this stuff, I still.
The timing makes no sense because
I'll tell you what makes no sense. What makes no sense to me is how the Gators don't go after Golish. He was recruited in the state of Florida, done a great job. And then they go hire another guy from Louisiana, and Summerfield's a good, Summerall is a good coach, but he's struggled the last several weeks. I mean, I know they won big. That is the one that puzzles me. First he's going to Arkansas, then now he's going to Auburn, which was predicted by me, by the way. Angel will back me up. I said Golish was going to be at Auburn a couple of weeks ago, but this whole it's all fascinating to me. What baffles me is when people. Anybody in this day and age, unless you're really young and don't get it, why they expect loyalty in any form of college sports, particularly football and basketball. It doesn't happen. I've said this story a million times. I played golf with Rick Pitino the year before I got in the radio. He belonged to the same country club. We played golf for 4 hours. He sat there for 4 hours, and he brought it up, not me, because we just got back from the Final Four, about how he was never going to leave Providence to go coach the Knicks. And I learned a very valuable lesson that way, because 3 days later he was gone to the Knicks. I learned a very valuable lesson that way before I got into radio in 1988, that I would never, ever, ever trust a coach at his word again. Never. 4 hours, Jay. Good golf. He shot an 83. I shot a 95. I'll never forget. I still have the scorecard. And I used to kid him about it afterwards when I was covering the Celtics and some other stuff. And his wife, Joanne, and my mom were good friends back in the day. And I was like, you're still bullshitting me for 4. Do you remember that? And he's like, well, it was my dream job. And I know. I said, why'd you tell me for 4 hours you weren't going? But anyway, we digress.
Well, I'm just upset because this is before he was in the Pizza and Whores, so he didn't get that. So there you go. So his recruiting models, Pizza and Whores.
Jay, let's reconnect on Friday, and we'll talk more about your your rational thoughts about the Big Ten championship coming up and just college football alone. I mean, this is just
Interesting game
I
because
can't forget the NFL today because there's just too much good college sports going on, but too many stories. But let's reconnect.
again, you got to give Michigan State credit. Home run hire with Pat Fitzgerald. He's incredible.
I'm with you, and I agree with you
very
about that.
rarely
Yeah.
do I say nice things about Michigan State, but that's a tremendous hire. That's somebody we tried to hire here a couple times, and he's phenomenal.
Jay, you're the best.
It is what it is, buddy.
All right, bud. We'll talk on Friday.
Okay, buddy. I'll talk to you then. Thanks, you and Angel. Sorry about the tech problems.
Nah, no worries. Okay, there he goes. All right, Jay Flanley from Bees Rule up in Ann Arbor, where it's like 0 degrees. It was snowing all day. Ohio's writing Ohio in the end zone. Blah, 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 blah. Jacob Davis, though, one of my new favorite people on the show. It's the second time in less than a week, but absolutely. I don't know what your Thanksgiving Day weekend was like, being the aggressive reporter that you are, not only in the midst of the Lane Kiffin stuff, but when last we spoke, it was maybe an hour or two afterwards. First, Golish is going to Arkansas. Then he's not going to Arkansas. I don't know how well you know this Trey Sheppard guy who first reported that it was like an absolute done deal. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I thought he was going to the SEC. I was tongue-in-cheeking with Angel before we first connected. For the last month, I said, he's going to go to Auburn. I said, he's going somewhere. He's not going to stay at USF. And I was, half tongue-in-cheeking, especially after Hugh Freeze got fired. I'm like, you know what? He's going to Auburn. And I put Florida in there, too. I was like, why wouldn't he go to the Gators? Why wouldn't they aggressively pursue him? Somebody that is recruited very well in the state. And then you let him go. You don't go. You go after John Summer. We'll get to that part of it in a second here. But what the hell was your Thanksgiving Day weekend life like between Mississippi and the Arkansas situation? Ryan Silverfield, I kiddingly texted you. I said maybe you could report from the protests going on later today or this morning or from last night. But good morning, Jacob. Thanks for taking a few. What was your weekend like with all of this going on? Did you have a chance to eat and be with the fam?
Oh, I had a lot of eating and a lot of time spending with the family. But my goodness, it was crazy. Like it was, yeah, I felt like I was on my phone for about 24 hours a day. It was busy. I wasn't as busy as Marty Smith was covering the Ole Miss deal, but
Can I ask you this?
yes,
I'm sure there were a lot of reporters that wanted to get through security almost to the tarmac. I know it's Marty Smith, and I love Marty Smith. I love McGee as well. How did they allow it? Or maybe did Lane Kiffin, do you think, had some say? How does it allow? You see Marty, you see his truck in back of him during the inning. I played the video earlier. How does that happen?
well, it is ESPN, but
Yes.
Marty Smith and Lane Kiffin have a pretty good relationship, dating back for years. Marty is one of the best guys in the industry.
Agreed.
I've met him quite a few times,
Mhm.
so it's not surprising that he is the one that was allowed to maybe get the scoop as far as what was going on. But man, even he was all over the place. But until the final hours, I think it was Saturday night. My days are running together. I think it was Saturday night about 10:45 where things seemed to progress along, and that we finally understood that this wasn't a decision between staying at Ole Miss and going to LSU or not. It was I want to stay in through the playoffs because I'm going to LSU anyway. I think that's where we finally figured out what was actually going on.
Just the way the whole thing turned. But I don't know why in this day and age that people acting surprised by any of this. This has been going on for a long time. I've been doing this on my 39th year in broadcasting. I mean, I've seen this time and time again. And I know God said He told him to go to LSU, but I'm sure in the locker room, God did not tell those players that. I'm sure they feel a little bit different. I mean, have you heard? Where was Florida in all of this? Where were Mississippi? Were the offers were supposedly all around the same amount of money? Are you buying that now, or what do you think is the reason why, if everything was the same, why do you think Lane would have picked LSU?
Recruiting, and I think I wholeheartedly think that because Lane Kiffin immediately met with the number one recruit in the country when he was hired at LSU. So there's the correlation there. It seems like even though Ole Miss had a great recruiting philosophy, the NIL resources and stuff to give Lane Kiffin the opportunity to be successful there, it just doesn't make any sense because if LSU was willing to contribute the same exact thing, maybe even more uh, than what Ole Miss and what they can afford. It just doesn't make any sense to me because you're leaving a playoff team when he consistently said the same thing over and over and over again about being the first coach to do something, first coach to accomplish this and that. Like, and then you leave and turn your back on your team, man. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, are you buying the fact that Keith Carter, the AD, told him not to come to the meeting?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. No coach ever, they never let the coach, and you know, I'm sticking strictly football and basketball and college sports. They never let the coach that's going to leave coach a team. That's, I mean, I can't ever remember that being allowed ever by any AD. No one's going to, it's just not going to happen. But once again, as usual, the kids who are supposed to be top priority become way, way down on the totem pole, and they're the ones that get screwed. Now, I know Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator, is going to take over. What kind of an impact do you think he's going to have on this team? Or let me ask you, how many kids that are currently on the team are being told by Lane Kiffin, either on or off the record, don't play in that game. I don't want you to get hurt. You're going to follow me to LSU. How many kids, do you think that's a possibility of some of that happening as well?
It could be a possibility, but man, I just feel like there's still a wholesome part of this sport where you can't allow that to happen. Like, I know that there's been kids even in 2020, but that was a whole different deal there where people were sitting out. But this is an opportunity to win a national championship, and I can't fathom kids sitting out just to go join their coach down in Baton Rouge. It does not make any sense to me. I think it's to be a despicable move. It's already despicable of what Lane Kiffin did to them and this staff, taking the offensive coordinator into the Baton Rouge. But I think it's really a really telling sign that Lane Kiffin's exit, and he's told these coaches, hey, you're not going to have a place on my staff if you don't get your butt on the plane. It's a really despicable thing, and only to see three people go with him was pretty great because
Well,
it shows the commitment they had to this program.
so I think Marty had brought it up in the interview, but so you do think there was an ultimatum. He denies it. Lane denies it, but you think there was an ultimatum that was initially reported, I think, by Marty and it's somebody else at ESPN that said, "Look, if Lane said, if you're not on the plane when I get on the plane, don't bother. You're not coming." So
I
you think
believe
that
it.
is?
I feel like that's the kind of guy that Lane is.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's amazing. From one crazy scenario to another. When we got off, and I texted you, the days are all running together from Wednesday to today.
Yes.
When the first time we spoke after the show about the Alex Golish, and I don't know, I'm not trying to throw any reporter under the bus. I don't know Trey Schapp from a hole in the wall. I find it hysterical that people are blaming him that Golish didn't go to Arkansas because he leaked the story first, as if that was going to have a look. I mean, he's either going to go or he's not going to go, or the story was never true at all. Well, I still don't understand the Florida connection, why the Gators didn't go after him, and maybe they did, and we just don't know about it. And he had his heart set on going to Auburn anyway. But the Golish situation. What were your thoughts? Did you think he was coming to Arkansas? Was it BS? And who's Trey Schapp?
So Trey Shepp works for one of the radio places here in Little Rock.
Yep.
Really good guy. A really good reporter. Been doing it since '96. He's been led astray a few times, but he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
hold
he's
it
not.
against him.
Yep.
But I had two other people tell me that the Golesh deal was in fact in place. Obviously, his wife is from Greenwood, so maybe there was a opportunity for him to come back home, Greenwood, Arkansas, which is about an hour south of Fayetteville. But I do believe that there were some talks in place that he was Arkansas's number one target. But then there's other reports that Ryan Silverfield was the leader in the wheelhouse for this whole job, just a silent leader, which kind of makes sense of them going 2-4 down the stretch if he was Arkansas's main target all along. So I, when I first heard the Alex Golesh news, I did not go after that and share it on social media. I went and vetted some of my sources, and they told me, they said, "Yeah, this is accurate information, but the deal is not done." And I think I told you that there was nothing signed.
You did tell me that, but why? Um, we're trying. I mean, Auburn offer up more money. I don't know I mean, I know he's got a 6-year deal. I did not see how much Golish is getting from Auburn.
7.4.
7.4. So okay, so that's kind of like the standard,
Right.
what everybody seems to be getting. Even Lane Kiffin, what do you get? 7.5. I mean, for a big or 9. I'm sorry, 9.5. Right, 9.5. And do you think the Gators were ever in the mix for? I mean, to me, this is just. I don't get it. I don't get it. So do you think it came down to money? You think Arkansas, and I know that your AD and the college football chairman talked about they're going to put more resources, and he said, if I read correctly, 40 more million into the program, whatever that means, in recruiting or nil money or whatever it is. What do you think was the overriding factor? If he indeed had his mind set on going to Arkansas, what do you think changed his mind at the last second to go to Auburn?
Man, I'm totally speculating here.
That's okay.
I think that Auburn is in a much better place right now as far as infrastructure inside of their football facility, as far as NIL reach to play recruits, high schoolers, and then they have a proven transfer portal philosophy. I think the resources are there right now for Gillette to have better success right away at Auburn compared to Arkansas.
Was you think John Summerall ever in the mix to go to Arkansas as well? He ends up at Florida. It just baffles me. You go from one Louisiana guy to another, the Cajuns, and then the Green Wave. And I'm baffled by the Gators going after him. But sticking with your school, sticking with Arkansas, do you think Summerall was ever in Arkansas's plans to maybe go after him?
He was not. From the get go, from about October 31st, when I first reported that it was Eric Morris, Silverfield, and Gillette, I firmly believe that Summerall was never an option at Arkansas. Now, he was an option at Auburn and Ole Miss as well, but I think there was something there with him in the Florida program, which I'm surprised that Florida went after another G5 coach, considering.
I'm stunned.
Yeah.
I'm stunned
considering what happened with Sunbelt Billy.
And if you're going after a G5 coach, go after Golish. I mean, as I said, he's done a great job at USF. He knows how to recruit in the state. They got their new, millions of dollars stadium being built and all that stuff. I understand why he left. I don't understand how the Gators don't go after him. I know you go after another guy from Louisiana, and maybe turns out to be the greatest things from sliced bread. I don't get it. As far as Ryan Silverfield goes for the Razorbacks, most people seem fairly upset, possible protests and everything else. Why was this guy so high on the list, especially since how he finished with Memphis?
I think a lot of it has to do with what he's done lately. Obviously, he did not, after he took over Norvell, he did not just set the world on fire. He had the best resources in the American Conference, great recruiting classes, and didn't really do anything with it. And I think I think a lot of Memphis fans are ready to see him go. Even a columnist with a commercial appeal out of Memphis said that it was really going to be hard for the athletic director to sell a 7th year under Silverfield when the things kind of seem to be stalling out. So maybe this is a good time for Silverfield to move on. I wish he probably would have won 10 games instead. But down the stretch, he went 0-3 in November. I think he faced Tulane, East Carolina, and there was one other opponent that had an over 500 record. He went 0-3. So I think that was a big reason why I think if Arkansas would have seen him contend for a college football playoff spot instead of sliding out after an 8-1 start, that's an easier sell. But right now, it's just hard to sell them when you could have got Gillette or you could have got Eric Morris.
Kentucky's they're going to fire Stoops today if they haven't already. He's gone.
38 million.
38 million. You got Jonathan Smith. He only gets a measly 33 million for leaving for Michigan State.
Isn't that crazy, man? And then they hire Pat Fitzgerald, who did wonders. It's like the SEC Vanderbilt.
What is Penn State going to do? I don't know what they're thinking, or maybe they didn't want to deal with his past, and I understand all that, but who cares? Get the best guy you can, unless you're like a convicted felon. I mean, all this other stuff about recruiting violations and some other things that went on. I mean, just get over it. I don't know what Penn State's going to do, and I don't know. Maybe they hire Stoops. I don't know. I don't understand. As my friend Jay Flanley up in Ann Arbor was just talking about, he thinks maybe they have something up their sleeve. I don't know what that means.
Man, I have no idea because really there is not a peep coming out of Happy Valley. Like none at all. I've tried looking and reading everything. Obviously, they have their big names, unless maybe Lincoln Riley says, "See you USC," and I'm headed back northeast or something. I don't know. But man, he wasn't even a geographical. It just doesn't make sense of him going to Oklahoma to USC, but it wouldn't even make sense going to Penn State. Like it just, I don't know, man. It's weird where this Penn State thing is headed because you saw last week with the DeBoer deal. Like I was thinking, oh man, if they lose to Auburn, if Arkansas or Alabama loses to Auburn, man, we could really see DeBoer leave. Maybe they go after Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator.
Well, what about? But my buddy was just talking about before he came on. What if DeBoer did lose that game? Was Lane Kiffin, do you believe, might have been hanging around thinking he could get that job?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I don't think it was about them watching for an opportunity in an SEC championship game at Ole Miss as much as it was maybe Alabama's going to pitch for DeBoer out of Tuscaloosa.
Wow. I mean, my God, it is just it's a crazy situation. Jacob Davis joining us right here on the Pete Sheppard Show. You're on All Hogs. You're on Hottie Toddy News. You're on a few other sites. There's a few other
Mississippi
sites.
State on SI.
Mississippi State as well. And then we have the John Gruden stuff. USF, apparently, what I've read, they're going to hire Jerry Mack, the Kennesaw State head coach. Okay, now he's had some success. He's supposed to not coach. He's not going to coach in the Conference USA Championship either in that game. John Gruden's name was bantied about. John Gruden's name's been bantied about for the Gators as well. And he's in Tampa right now. I don't know. Have you heard anything at all about John Gruden in any way, shape, or form? Do you think Jerry Mack from Kennesaw State, from what you've seen and read, do you think he'll be the next head coach at USF?
I think he would be a fantastic hire. The guy's been a program builder, a guy that can win anywhere. And as far as John Gruden goes, man, I think he's fine sitting at Barstool doing his thing, collecting that $10 million from the Raiders. So no, I don't think John Gruden's going anywhere.
How close are you to the AD at Arkansas, the college football chairman as well, and a lot of big decisions coming up? My big talk is, my Hurricanes, who I told you I was a fan of from the mid '70s, and nobody gave a crap about them, and they were ready to lose the program. So, but I'm just, I despise Notre Dame. I've only been there once to cover a game, and it was the Gordon game back in the day. With the end of the game, they filmed the Rudy scene at the end, which was hysterical. Nobody knew what was going on, but. The fans are delusional, in my opinion. Some may say that but I just think that the way this college football playoff committee has talked about, if you read between the lines, that style points matter. Well, they matter for some teams and then don't matter for other teams. And I still can't get over the fact when Notre Dame hung on to beat a bad Boston College team that was only a 12-10 game in the fourth quarter, they don't get dropped at all. And you talk about, style points. Miami's 4-0 against ranked teams. They have outscored in the common opponent games. They're except for the Syracuse game, where Syracuse had a lacrosse player at starting quarterback. Miami blew out Syracuse. Okay, Notre Dame blew them out a little bit more. But Miami, all the other common opponent games, Miami's beat them by more points. Plus, I know this is not a factor in South Bend. They actually beat you head-to-head, and I was at that game, and it was way worse than a 3-point win for the Canes. They dominated that game. But the whole philosophy of the College Football Playoff Committee and you hear broadcasters talk about style points. They talk about it for certain teams. They don't talk about it for others. I hate it. I hate the hypocrisy.
Yeah, and I'm not really close. I've shaken Hunter Yurachek's hand probably 3 times. Spoke to him a couple of words, just kind greetings. Don't know him personally, but as far as Notre Dame goes, man, I guess it's more of what have you done for us lately when it comes to college football? Obviously, they've won. What did they do? Win 10 games in a row down the
Yeah, they won
stretch.
10 in a row. They won the national championship game last year. I know, and it was a close game. It wasn't like they lost by 40. I mean, but
I've never understood the Notre Dame bias. I don't know where it comes from. Obviously, the '80s and '70s were great times, but I guess it's the brand. It's just like the whole Texas brand. Steve Sarkisian trying to say, "Oh, we're 9-3. We were not afraid to play Ohio State in the season opener. Put us in the playoff." Like it's the whole "What have you done for us lately?" And I think that's what Notre Dame's clinging on to. And I don't know what the status is for Jeremiah Love moving forward, but if he's out for the college football playoff or whatever, wouldn't you think it would impact their seeding or possibly being able to get in, considering he is their best player? Hello, Florida State 2023.
hey, and look, they talked about coaches and players having an impact. As we said, Florida State. Now, I know Nicole Auerbach yesterday was talking about, and of course I agree with her because it's my Hurricane. Kick Duke out and put Miami in against Virginia would be a much better game. Obviously, I still think Miami kicks the crap out of both of those teams the way they're playing right now on both sides of the ball. But to have a 6-5 Duke team, playing in that, I mean, and they probably can't change those rules right now because all hell would probably break loose in the world of college football. Jim Phillips would spontaneously combust if that happened, the ACC chairman. But they got to fix this, or they got to fix this again in some way, shape, or form. It's got to be tweaked. You can't have like Tulane in there over Miami. And I'm all for the little guy, the upsets. We've seen it in March Madness a gazillion times. I love that aspect of March Madness. I want to try to adopt that philosophy in college football playoff too. I think we need to get to 16. I don't know if 24 is necessarily the answer, but definitely need to get to 16. But the fact of the matter is, and Nick Saban brought it up at College Game Day Saturday, that Miami nobody is going to want to play them. Nobody. I don't care who you are, Ohio State, Indy, nobody's going to want to play them. They have so much talent. They have so many first-round picks on both sides of the ball. And to have a Duke team in the ACC championship, it is what it is, I guess, right? It is what it is. Lastly, Ryan Silverfield having a press conference today. Will you be attending that? What's your schedule like?
So I'm actually leaving for vacation tonight. We're going to fly out in the morning, going to the Caribbean. So I won't be attending the press conference. It's not till Thursday.
Why?
Isn't that wild? I don't know. They didn't even tell people when Ryan Silverfield was landing at the airport yesterday. They kind of just snuck him in about 2:30.
Well, save the taxpayers some money. Did you see the freaking greeting that Lane Kiffin got? Do you really need that many police escorts for a college football coach? How much did that cost?
I guarantee you thousands, or maybe a couple of grand to get that escort.
We're headed in the Caribbean.
Cayman Islands.
Oh, nice. I have not been there. I've been to Aruba 11 times, Jamaica, Dominican. Oh, Cayman. That's a good big.
Oh,
big,
beautiful.
Big
Love
bucks.
that town.
Big bucks there. Well, thank you so much, Jacob. Anything else you want to plug besides, Hotty Toddy News and Hogs on SI and anything else? I retweeted. I thought you had a couple of interesting pieces that you wrote. Great stuff, and love having you on. So anything else you want to plug away.
Man, or just follow me on Twitter if you want to, or excuse me, X at Jacob Scott Davis if you want to.
Awesome. Well, enjoy a wonderful, well-deserved vacation with your family, and we'll talk at some point, maybe next couple of weeks when you get back, and we'll see where the landscape of college football is.
Yeah, just shoot me a text, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. There you go, Jacob Davis, just like that. Great stuff. Right in the middle. I can just picture a reporter like that, as good as he is. You're sitting there Thanksgiving Day and your phone's blowing up, and you probably have to have it on the table. Maybe he didn't. Maybe his wife wouldn't allow it. But I would imagine that had to be somewhere where, oh my God. He probably said, oh my God, about 8,000 times. Besides saying grace, it's saying, oh my God, this is happening, this is happening, this is not happening, this is happening. Got to be, it makes your head spin.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Angel, oh man, unreal. How are you doing?
Good. Jay, first time he's ever had any kind of technical major issues. So it's the fun part is trying to go back and forth with him on the phone. But other than that, yeah, good. And I'm pretty sure Jacob was probably slammed because, it was funny that, all roads led to Arkansas until it didn't. So it's interesting. I'm pretty sure more stuff's going to happen today.
Before we go, if you could, I'm right under the show, Angel, we might have to refresh. Here's Aaron Rodgers throwing more players under the bus. Gee, what else is new? He does this everywhere he goes. It's only a matter of time.
Yep.
And he did it again yesterday after the loss and got beat up and threw his receivers under the bus.
Not surprising with this jackass.
When there's film sessions, everybody shows up. And when I check to a route, you do the right route, Like John and I just weren't on the same page. I checked to his in breaker and he ran out breaker. John is a true professional, so I'm sure he's sick about that.
I'm sure he is. So there you go. Now, it wasn't your fault. What about you holding onto the ball? What about Joey Bosa burying your face, giving you a bludgeon nose? What about your misreads during the game? You were terrible. Absolutely terrible. We do have somewhat a bit of breaking news here, college football-wise.
Boy.
Well, it's official. North Carolina State and Virginia will play August 29th, 2026 in the first college football game in South America. College football Brazil, they're calling, will be held at Nilton Santos Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and televised on an ESPN network. So how about that?
Not surprising.
In Virginia. There you go. All right, Angel, that's about going to do it for us today. Let me see. I think we covered it all. Tomorrow we'll have a recap. I know Bill Burt's going to join us at 8:05 and recap. He'll have hardly any sleep, but recap the Patriots Giants game tonight. That's coming up at 8 o'clock on ESPN. So with that being said, Angel, what else is coming up today on the network?
Lloyd Vance's Insider Football will be coming up tonight from 8 to 9:15 p.m. That is Lloyd Vance, Kevin Midget, so you guys can listen here, or at least listen in on the Odyssey app, over on our own app, Sports Radio 102.9, and also live on the website.
All right, thanks to Jacob Davis. Thanks to Jay Flaley, my guest. Thanks to you, Angel Martinez. Great job as always. Pete Sheppard Show is back tomorrow at 7 a.m., everybody. Enjoy the rest of your maniacal Monday. See ya.